Live from Washington, D.C., welcome to the 2012 National Memorial Day Parade. And now, the 200-voice Memorial Day Festival Chorus, under the direction of Cindy Petty. It's an annual tradition from Washington, D.C. The American Veterans Center's 2012 National Memorial Day Parade, presented by Boeing, with Grand Marshal Chuck Yeager, Honorary Marshals Gary Sinise, Joe Mantegna, Buzz Aldrin, wounded warriors from Afghanistan and Iraq, and hundreds of decorated veterans and active duty personnel, with performances by the United States Air Force Band, American Idol Season 8 winner Chris Allen, Miss America 2012 Laura Kepler, recording artist G. Love, The Voice contestant Angie Johnson, and American tenor Nathan Pacheco. It's all coming to you live from Constitution Avenue. And now, please welcome your hosts, Major Garrett and Alex Witt.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Constitution Avenue right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. for the American Veterans Center's 8th Annual National Memorial Day Parade, presented by Boeing. I'm Major Garrett.
And I'm Alex Witt, and we would like to welcome all of our viewers joining us today. In addition to airing in many cities around the United States, this broadcast will also be seen on the Pentagon channel, which can be viewed by our military personnel around the world.
The National Memorial Day Parade was founded in 2005. It's a family-friendly event, calls attention to the true meaning of Memorial Day, of course, to honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice to preserve our liberty and our freedom.
And this is going to include some very special tributes to our men and women who have served and sacrificed throughout our country's history, from the American Revolution to the current generation that has served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And to help us with our parade coverage, Streetside is the lovely, beautiful former Miss America, Kirsten Haglund. Hello, Kirsten.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We have an incredible crowd down here on Constitution Avenue. The sun is shining. It's a hot one, but it's a great day for a parade. I'm going to be bringing you coverage from the route, as well as some interviews with some very special guests. It's going to be quite a day. Back to you, Major and Alex.
Thank you, Kirsten. Now, this is the time of the afternoon where I say let's have a parade. And as the parade is kicking off here on Constitution Avenue, and you hear special guests mentioned a lot, well, this is a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our set, Gary Sinise. Gary, it's great to have you with us.
Sure is.
How did it all start for you and the cause, Memorial Day, supporting veterans, supporting those who have served?
Well, I have veterans in my family, and I have great respect for those who serve our country. Been involved with veterans groups for many, many years, going back to the early 80s, and I have Vietnam veterans in my family, and we all remember what happened to our Vietnam veterans when they came home from war. It was a shameful period in our history. We don't want that to ever happen again to our veterans. So I just try to go out there and show as much support as I can for our wounded, our Gold Star families, and those on active duty around the world.
You know what's great, too, is you're a guy who puts your words into action. You have this great new foundation. Tell us about that. It supports our military veterans.
Yeah, Gary Sinise Foundation. It's GarySiniseFoundation.org. It's really just an extension of the work that I've been doing over the years in support of our military, and I decided the next logical step for me was to create an entity, an organization that was strictly devoted to our military families, Gold Star families. Unfortunately, we have way too many of those. We have several wounded warriors, many severely wounded, and so in one of our programs, in partnership with another foundation, the Stephen Sillard Tunnel to Towers Foundation, is a program called Building for America's Bravest. We're building homes for very, very severely wounded. You can go to GarySiniseFoundation.org and learn more about that program. But I go out and entertain and do all kinds of things, and one of the things I do here every Memorial Day is co-host the Memorial Day concert with Joe Mantegna.
Joe, I follow you on Twitter. How has social media allowed you to expand awareness of what you're doing and build support for what you're trying to accomplish?
Oh, it's terrific. Like everybody knows, there's nothing like it. You can immediately tell people what you're doing, and we're doing that constantly, letting people know where I'm going to be, what organizations I'm supporting, what charities I'm supporting, what our program at Gary Sinise Foundation is supporting. And it's just a great way to communicate.
What's your Twitter handle?
At Gary Sinise.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
That sounds good. I'm going to tweet you when I get done, I tell you.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for being with us. I'm so glad to have you.
My
and
pleasure.
I'm sure your fans around the world watching on the Pentagon channel as well. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks very much.
And a special thank you to the American Veterans Center for organizing today's parade and for bringing this tradition back here to Washington, D.C. You know, until the parade's founding back in 2005, Washington had been without the tradition of a Memorial Day parade for nearly 70 years. Well, the Chesapeake Caledonian Pipes and Drums was founded in 1985 to provide the very finest in Scottish and Irish bagpipe and drum music.
The band is under the overall direction of Pipe Major Robert Wallace of Annapolis. Continuing with tradition, the parade is always led by a riderless horse, meant to be a solemn symbol honoring those who have died in service to our country and reminding us, again, of the true meaning of Memorial Day.
And today's horse is Winchester. Winchester's an old veteran here. He's making his 4th appearance in the parade. He's being led by Major William Wolfe, a retired veteran of the United States Army Reserve.
The Boeing Company is proud to be the presenting sponsor of today's Memorial Day Parade and to salute the brave men and women on active duty. With more than 30,000 employee veterans, Boeing also salutes all who have served before for helping keep our nation strong and free.
Today's parade will open with a special tribute to the service and sacrifice of the United States Air Force on this, its 65th anniversary. Throughout the parade, decorated and legendary Air Force veterans will serve as honorary marshals.
And we are honored to welcome the Ceremonial Honor Guard, consisting of marching platoons from each branch of the armed forces. These platoons are under the order of Joint Force Headquarters, National Capital Region, Military District of Washington.
Greetings. I'm Major General Mike Lennington of the U.S. Army's Military District of Washington. On behalf of all of the men and women in the U.S. Army and the entire Joint Force serving here in the nation's capital, I'd like to welcome everyone to the National Memorial Day Parade. We are proud to be representing our nation's military and veterans here on Constitution Avenue, and a warm salute goes out to all of our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen stationed around the world. Enjoy the parade. Army strong.
And we salute the commander of troops and the Joint Staff.
And there are many platoons with us, including ones from the United States Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guards. Let us please welcome them all.
Indeed. And now the Old Guard Fife and Drums Corps from the 3rd United States Infantry Regiment. Now this one is always a big-time crowd pleaser here in the nation's capital as they appear in uniforms patterned after those worn by musicians in General George Washington's Continental Army. The Old Guard is the only musical unit of its kind in the United States Armed Forces.
And here is the Grand Marshal for the 2012 National Memorial Day Parade and our salute to the United States Air Force, General Chuck Yeager. General Yeager, a veteran of World War II and Vietnam, is among our nation's most legendary aviators, most famous for being the first pilot to break the speed of sound.
And of course, he's the man with the right stuff. He remains among the most recognizable figures in Air Force history. He's riding in a classic 1957 Ford Thunderbird convertible. It is owned by Jim Murphy. We will be back for more live coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade right after this. Stay with us.
The Boeing Company is proud to be the presenting sponsor of today's Memorial Day Parade.
Supports the arts and school activities throughout the school year. The Turner Golden Regiment has participated in 4 Mardi Gras parades, 8 Florida Citrus Parade.
And joining us as part of our tribute to the U.S. Air Force on its 65th anniversary is the parade's Grand Marshal. He needs no introduction, ladies and gentlemen, General Chuck Yeager. General, it's great to have you with us. I know we rushed you up here a little bit. We took you out of that beautiful car in the parade route. It's great to have you with us.
Hey,
in your own words.
As long as I can sit by her, I can care less.
That's right, General. In your own words, Memorial Day. What does it mean? What should our audience take away from it?
It means that there's a lot of guys here that will never make it. And I'm dedicated to their losses. And lots of families lost them.
You know, you certainly are dedicated to that. You won the Bronze Star, sir. You helped after you were shot down in France in 1945. You helped carry an airman over the Pyrenees into Spain.
And unfortunately, he weighed about 200 pounds.
Oh my goodness, that was quite a workout. But
no,
you know,
I drug him across the Pyrenees because I'd been interned in France with the underground, and then they released us through the Pyrenees. We went into Spain, which was a neutral country, and once we got there, we were put in a nice hotel, lay on the swimming pool, and look at the gals in a bikini. That was a good way to fight a war.
General, what does it take to be a good fighter pilot, a good test pilot?
I think that the first is experience. The more experience the pilot gets, the better pilot he is. Now, obviously, you got to be trained in the right kinds of airplane.
Yeah.
And you'll see today, you know, you've got fighter pilots, you've got bomber pilots, cargo pilots. They're all trained for a mission.
You know who's trained today as well?
That's
are
right.
all these folks out here on the parade. They're doing an incredible job. We're going to head back to Constitution Avenue right now.
So please welcome Honorary Marshal and Tony Award-winning actor Joe Mantegna. He has starred in many Broadway shows and films, and he can currently be seen in the lead role of the CBS drama Criminal Minds.
And in fact, joining him is one of his relatives who served in the military. That would be his uncle, Willie Novelli, who fought with General George S. Patton's Third Army across Europe. We certainly thank him for his service as part of America's greatest generation. Let's check out this military vehicle they're riding in. It's supported today by PenFed.
And now let's head back to Kirsten Haglund. Kirsten on the street.
Well, thank you, Major. I'm here with Tim Holbert, who is the Executive Director of the American Veterans Center. So Tim, this has turned into an absolutely huge event. Can you tell us a little bit about the National Memorial Day Parade, how it got started?
Sure, absolutely. Well, back in 2004, we were asked at the center to help put on a parade for World War II veterans. It was in conjunction with the World War II Memorials dedication right down the street. And it was on Memorial Day weekend. And after the parade, we looked around and said, well, wait a minute, where's the normal Memorial Day Parade in D.C.? I mean, every city across the country, every small town has a Memorial Day Parade. And we looked into it, and there hadn't been one in Washington in decades, really. So we decided, you know, why don't we bring this back as the National Memorial Day Parade to really kind of call attention to the real meaning of the day. Did that the next year and took off, and here we are today.
So the American Veterans Center produces this parade. Can you tell us just a little bit about the mission of the center?
Sure. Outside of the parade, we do a lot of speaker programs. We do documentary work. Our mission is really to preserve and promote the legacy and history of America's veterans. So that's really what we do the rest of the year, and it's really gratifying work.
All right, so what can we do at home to support this day?
Just go ahead and visit our website at www.americanveteranscenter.org.
Great, thank you. Back to you, Major and Alex.
Thank you, Kirsten. The James B. Conant. What's our next read, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, each year the parade honors a different branch of the U.S. military with a special tribute to its fallen heroes. This year, the parade has been honored to have the support of Boeing as we salute the 65th anniversary of the United States Air Force.
All right, each year the parade honors a different branch of the U.S. military with a special tribute to its fallen heroes. This year the parade has been honored to have the support of Boeing as we salute the 65th anniversary of the United States Air Force.
You know, in fact, the War Department created the Aeronautical Division Signal Corps back in 1907. Following several changes in name and mission, the organization became known as the U.S. Army Air Forces just prior to the U.S. entry into World War II. On September 18, 1947, the Air Force was formally created as its own department as we know it today. And riding on the float is Season 8 American Idol winner Chris Allen. Chris is going to be performing for us in just a minute, so that's exciting.
Chris Allen is an artist who is constantly, like most artists are, on the road. He toured for a year and a half behind his debut album playing, and of course headlining shows, as well as opening for Keith Urban and Maroon 5. I bet you've heard of them.
Yeah.
On his new album, Thank You, Camilla, Chris Allen delivers on everything his fans love him for and much more.
In fact, you know, Major, this album is a showcase for the easy, lived-in richness of Chris Allen's voice, as well as his knack for crafting pop melodies. He writes these heartfelt lyrics that explore the ups and downs of love.
There are some of those.
There are a few, indeed. Well, the American Veterans Center is proud to present a special musical performance with his new hit single, Vision of Love. Here we are, Chris Allen.
Love is not a faded dream. Tell me I'm not the only one who feels this way right now. Lonely, needs a friend. Ask him where he's been. You could be the light that comes and turns his world around. I don't wanna run, I don't wanna hide when someone needs somebody. I don't wanna say I don't got the time when someone needs somebody. With a little faith and a little soul, we can go on, we can go on. When our heart breaks and the world shakes, we will stand for the vision of love. When a tear falls and the fear calls, we will stand for the vision of love. We will stand for the vision of love. Singing, whoa, 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 whoa. I was singing it, whoa, whoa, when a heart breaks and the world shakes, will we stand for the vision of love? Will we stand for the vision of love?
Thank you very much.
Oh, it is official. I'm a big fan. Thank you so much, Chris. And from Washington, D.C., here is the Frank W. Ballou Majestic Marching Knights. We are here from Washington, D.C. Well, we've got the parade's honorary Grand Marshals.
Percussion co-captain.
We are honored to be representing the nation's capital in this parade.
We are an award-winning band that uses hard work, discipline, and capacity to overcome any and all obstacles.
Over the years, we have performed at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day, the Tournament of Roses, and at President George Bush inaugural parades.
We hope you enjoy our performance as you
feel the soul of the blue and gold.
Here at the parade's honorary Grand Marshals are wounded warriors from the operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. In addition to the nearly 6,000 Americans who have been killed, of course, many thousands more have been injured and wounded. We should remember their sacrifice, of course, not just on Memorial Day, but each and every day. The warriors are representatives of the Wounded Warrior Project.
And of course, Gary was able to get back there and join them just in time. Actor Gary Sinise, as we were talking with him, he has been a tireless supporter of our men and women in uniform. Gary, of course, best known for his current starring role on CSI New York. And who can forget Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump.
Coming up live, the parade pays tribute to the fallen of the Civil War. We'll be right back.
Of 150 dedicated students, making up 2 concert bands, a jazz band, a pep band, and a marching band.
Arborview is a 3-time finalist in Bands of America marching band competitions and was the 2008 representative of the state of Nevada and the National Memorial Day Parade right here in Washington, D.C. We're happy to have the band back this year with 40 students representing the program. Great job, and thanks for coming back.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can help support the parade from home. Text VETS to 501501 to donate $5 to support the National Memorial Day Parade. Our veterans and the military men and women who have sacrificed to protect our freedoms. Message and data rates may apply. Quicken Loans is proud to honor those who have served by supporting the National Memorial Day Parade.
Now as you watch the National Memorial Day Parade, it's organized as a moving timeline of American military history, honoring fallen heroes from our beginnings all the way through the current generation that has served in Afghanistan and Iraq. With this timeline, we begin with a tribute to the Native Americans.
Welcome back, everyone, to our live coverage from Washington, D.C. of the American Veterans Center's National Memorial Day Parade, presented by Boeing.
The National Memorial Day Parade is organized as a moving timeline of American military history, honoring fallen heroes from our beginnings all the way through the current generation that has served in Afghanistan and Iraq. We begin this timeline with a tribute to the Native Americans.
Now, we are also here with Dan Beck, who is Director International Business Development and Strategy Communications for Boeing. Dan, I don't need to tell you that's a mouthful, but also you were wise enough on this day when it's about 6,000 degrees here on Constitution Avenue to wear the cool, light tan blazer. So props to you on that.
Well,
Boeing's the big sponsor for this. Why and what all do you do to make it happen?
Well, this is very important to us because we have 170,000 employees, and about 30,000 of those employees are veterans. Many more have sons and daughters or other family members who are serving in the military, and many of these families touched with the loss that we honor here today. And so it's a big part of what we do. And the 60,000 employees that support our defense businesses, every day they rededicate themselves to building the machines that help these men and women carry out their missions and get them safely back home. So it's important for us to be able to honor those who weren't able to make it back home.
Absolutely. And on the heels of that, I'd love to know what Memorial Day means to you, both personally and to also your employees who are non-military, given what they're doing every day for a living.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, our employees are all patriots, and what they do, they take a lot of pride in the aircraft and the other products that they build for the American military, as well as our international allies. And so it really means a lot to them to support activities like this. For me, I mean, I'm one of the fortunate ones who has not lost family members as a result, but we are all touched in some way by those who made those sacrifices. And plus, we're all here, and they've preserved the words that are so important that are enshrined in the National Archives building right across the street.
Indeed.
Dan Beck with Boeing, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a sponsor
My
of the
fellow
parade.
Southern Californian.
Now we remember those who served in the American Revolution during 8 years of combat. Think about this for a second. Nearly 25,000 died in military service, which amounted, if you do the math, to nearly 1% of the population at that time, putting the Revolutionary War behind only the Civil War in terms of percentage of Americans killed in action.
Numbers there. Well, the Fifes and Drums of Yorktown is brought to us by the Military Order of the Purple Heart Service Foundation, a nonprofit organization whose primary purpose is to serve the needs of our wounded and disabled veterans. The foundation is honored to serve all veterans and their families, and a proud supporter of this parade for our military.
And because Constitution Avenue is where all the action is, let's now go back down to Kirsten. Kirsten?
Thank you, Major. I am honored to be standing here with Admiral Sandy Winnefeld. He's the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as well as the Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mavis. So tell me, Admiral Winnefeld, what does it feel like to you to see all these people that are turning out and tuning in to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice on Memorial Day?
Well, Kirsten, it's fantastic. You know, a couple of people have asked me this weekend whether I think that America really understands the meaning of the Memorial Day holiday, and the answer is a resounding yes. Events like this all across the country, memorial services at baseball games. We were at the Indian 500 yesterday, 400,000 race fans, and I could tell that every one of them really gets it, what Memorial Day really means.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And Secretary Mavis, now, can you tell us a little bit about the special 200th year commemoration of the War of 1812 and what that means to the Navy?
The War of 1812 was really the birth of America's Navy, and so for the last 200 years we've been standing the watch, protecting America around the globe, and I think that this is a great way to let people know what the Navy does, because when the Navy and Marine Corps are doing their jobs, they're a long, long way from home. We're America's away team, and this is going to show Americans exactly how good their sailors and Marines are.
I completely agree with you. And so does this day take on special meaning now that you serve in this special role as Secretary of our Navy?
Absolutely. I've met so many families of the fallen. I've met so many of our wounded warriors and their families, people who are willing to sacrifice their tomorrows for our tomorrows. And the fact that we have people like this, we have families that have made this profound a sacrifice, is so touching, and it's so appropriate that we honor them here today.
Absolutely, you're so right. And just quickly, what can families at home do to honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice today?
Well, I think there are a number of things they can do. First of all, they can help take care of a wounded warrior. They can honor a Gold Star family. They can hire a veteran, or they can just thank somebody in uniform.
Wow, thank you both so much for being here. Thank you. Back to you, Major and Alex.
Kirsten, thank you so very much. Now coming up, the Sons of the American Revolution is a patriotic society founded in 1889 to keep alive their ancestors' story of the patriotism and courage in the belief that it is a universal story of man's struggle against tyranny, a story which would inspire future generations when they would have to defend and extend our freedom.
In fact, today the SAR consists of 28,000 members, and I'm proud to say my father's one of them, in over 500 chapters in the United States, Canada, France, Germany, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. Each of the men marching in the parade today has proven that at least one of their ancestors fought in the Revolution or otherwise supported the patriot cause.
Well, that's a bloodline I simply cannot compete with. All props to you, Alex. Now, representing the Gateway School District in Western Pennsylvania, here is the Gateway Marching Band.
Hello, I'm drum major Evan Meindl.
And I'm Elena Murray, flute section leader. Our band has performed several times in Walt Disney World, most notably as the lead feature band in the Disney Easter Parade.
We have also performed for the Vice President of the United States and have traveled the Eastern United States to perform in several band contests and festivals.
We have been a consistent finalist in Bands of America Regional Championships and have also participated in Bands of America National Championships.
It is an honor for us to be marching here in the National Memorial Day Parade.
And now the National Memorial Day Parade remembers those who served in the War of 1812. The Star-Spangled Banner Flag House is a National Historic Landmark. It's located in Baltimore, Maryland. It is the home of Mary Young Pickersgill, the maker of the legendary Star-Spangled Banner. Seeing that flag still flying the morning after a heavy British attack inspired, as we all remember, Francis Scott Key to write the song that would someday become our national anthem.
And you know, Mary's House is now a museum and a nonprofit organization committed to inspiring personal connections to American history through the multifaceted story of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Now here is the USS Constitution crew and their color guard. The Constitution, known as Old Ironsides, is the oldest commissioned warship afloat in the entire world. It was named by George Washington and is one of the Navy's 6 original frigates.
In fact, it saw action in the Quasi-War with France and in the wars against the Barbary pirates, but it's most famous for its victories over British ships in the War of 1812. They are commanded by Commander Matthew J. Bonner, 72nd in command. The Cheshire High School Marching Ram Band is honored to be a part of the 2012 National Memorial Day Parade.
The Veteran Corps of Artillery, State of New York, founded on Evacuation Day, November 25th, 1790, is one of 9 historical military commands still in operation in the United States.
And as we hear them loud and clear now, today the Corps traditionally performs ceremonial functions, firing 75mm pack howitzers at events such as the recent 125th birthday of the Statue of Liberty. And today, look at that, they are dressed in authentic U.S. Army uniforms. This from the War of 1812. I'm hoping there's not a lot of wool in those uniforms on this hot day.
Well, let us hope not. Ship's Company is a living history organization, and it's dedicated to the preservation of American maritime heritage. They interpret many aspects of maritime life between 1775 and 1865.
And Ship's Company demonstrates these traditions to the public for both their enjoyment and their learning experience. They are marching today in the uniforms again, as worn by sailors during the War of 1812. Ooh.
You're looking at now the largest
Look at
U.S.
that.
Navy flag in the world, spanning 90 feet in length, closing our tribute to the Navy's commemoration of the War of 1812.
Pretty magnificent sight there. And do stay with us, everyone. We'll be back with more of our live parade coverage right after this. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be back with more of our live parade coverage right after this.
Coming up, the parade honors the fallen of the Civil War, and it's all live from the National Memorial Day Parade.
Well, thanks, Major. The next section of the National Memorial Day Parade is arriving as we honor those who served in the Civil War. And I have here with me, I'm honored to be standing next to Sergeant Paul Buck Chambers, who has just lost 2 friends while serving in Afghanistan in January. Thank you so much, Buck, for being here. So I understand that you are a war veteran now. So what made you want to come up here and be a part of this parade today?
Well, be it that just recently, in January 18th, I did lose 2 of my close friends and squad members in Kajaki, Afghanistan, due to a suicide bombing attack. It touched me when I saw that this parade was going on and the amount of people that come out to it. So I felt if I could, if there was any way, I would get here. And I do, in fact, still have ball bearings in me, but I'm able to make it here. So it's like I'm not going to miss it on their behalf. That's why I'm here, and I want to walk with the other veterans for them.
Well, I'm sure that they are so happy that you could be here, and we thank you so much for your service. You're an amazing example of all of our men serving abroad. Back to you, Major and Alex.
All right, thank you so much, Kirsten, and thank you to your guest. Well, brought to you by Quicken Loans, fifes and drums have a long history of military use dating back to as early as the 15th century. They were used on the battlefield to signal desired movements to troops in combat. The American Originals Fife and Drum Corps have been representing the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area since 1991. They offer an extensive repertoire of American music, spanning the times from the American Revolution to the sounds of the 21st century.
The Civil War, which resulted in the preservation, of course, of the Union and the abolishment of slavery, came at the cost of nearly 750,000 soldiers on both sides, making it by far the bloodiest war in American history.
And the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, that formed in 1881 to carry on the traditions and memory of the Grand Army of the Republic. Marching are members of the Irish Brigade Camp from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and the Lincoln Cushing Camp from Washington, D.C. We're going to get back now and talk about those sponsors. We got to give another nod there to Quicken Loans in case you heard it earlier. But now we're going to go to the Fife and Drums, which have a long history of military use dating back to as early as the 15th century. They were used on the battlefield to signal desired movements to troops in combat. The American Originals Fife and Drum Corps have been representing the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area since 1991. They offer an extensive repertoire of American music spanning the times from the American Revolution, if you can believe that, all the way now to the sounds of the 21st century.
This novel approach to Fifes Fifing and drumming has entertained audiences in Switzerland, the Netherlands, Canada, and Germany, as well as, of course, right here in the United States.
Now, listen to these words: with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds.
These words, so eloquently spoken by Abraham Lincoln during, of course, his second inaugural address. They demonstrated his devotion and our commitment to healing our nation, so shattered by that Civil War.
And portraying Abraham Lincoln for the 8th time in this parade is Whitney Lester of Norfolk, Virginia.
As part of the parade's tribute to the fallen of the Civil War, please join us in welcoming Tom Tompkins from Virginia and his horse Whittingham. Whittingham is a standard-bred pacer who has won 36 races and was owned by former New York Jets wide receiver Wayne Chrebet.
That's an interesting little fact there. Well, Tom was a U.S. Marine who served with the 26th Marine Regiment in Vietnam and a veteran of the 77-day siege of Khe Sanh back in 1968.
Now, of the female reenactors of distinction, these ladies are an auxiliary organization of the African American Civil War Museum right here in Washington, D.C. They bring American history alive and portray a number of unknown or forgotten ladies of the Civil War era who made major contributions, nevertheless, to the educational, medical, artistic, and social aspects of this great nation.
What great costumes they have. In fact, it's their mission to educate the public of their history, as well as promote the accomplishments of the African American Civil War soldiers that secured freedom for all Americans.
Of which 85 made this trip. The band is in its 3rd year of existence, and it includes grades 9 through 12. The West Harrison
And here we are. Let's welcome right now the West Harrison High School Band from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Mayhem, drum major. And I'm color guard captain Kara Morrison. Our band program is made up of 110 students, of which 85 made the trip here to Washington.
Our band is in its 3rd year and includes students in grades 9 through 12. West Harrison High School was constructed after Hurricane Katrina and will serve as a school and a hurricane shelter when needed.
We have been rated all superior in concert, sight reading, and marching at the state band evaluation in the last 2 years.
Today we are playing Troopers Battle Hymn. We are honored to be a part of the parade today.
That's
Representing the more than 1 million men who fought for the Confederacy, the R.E. Lee Camp of the Sons of Confederate Veterans has marched in this parade since its founding back in 2005, and they are certainly proud to be joined by their compatriots, friends, and living historians in memory of the valor of the Confederate soldier, sailor, and their families.
Some of the other organizations participating are the Frank Stringfellow Camp number 822 right across the river in Fairfax, Virginia, the Dixie Rose Relief Society, and the Maryland Division Color Guard, Sons of Confederate Veterans. Now, the National Moment of Remembrance Now, the National Moment of Remembrance, and I jumped the gun just a moment ago, so forgive me for that. It was established by Congress. It asks all Americans, wherever they are at 3 o'clock local time on Memorial Day, to pause in an act of national unity.
And right now, the National Memorial Day Parade will participate in that moment, coming to a complete stop for 1 minute, while taps will be played in honor of all who've sacrificed their lives. So wherever you are, we ask that you please join us in this moment. Moment of silence, a most poignant thing here. Just a few. Here we go, everyone, this moment of silence. Please honor it with us.
In honor of all who have sacrificed their lives, wherever you are, we ask that you please join us.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed.
Right back. You're watching live coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade here in Washington, D.C. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
Once again, WTOP, sister station Federal News Radio, proud sponsors of the National Memorial Day Parade, celebrating true American heroes. WTOP and Federal News Radio would like to thank the veterans, the active duty men and women for their dedication to protecting our great nation.
The Central Virginia Mustang Club, a nonprofit society promoting the safe and enjoyable use of all Mustangs, Ford and Ford-powered vehicles. They donate to several charities annually, to include Toys for Tots and Wounded Warriors Project. Members are from Richmond, Virginia, and the surrounding counties.
The Boeing Company is proud to honor the United States Air Force on its 65th anniversary. The 4-month conflict marked American entry into world affairs and helped to further repair relations between North and South in the aftermath of the Civil War, as Americans of all backgrounds came together to serve.
Theodore Roosevelt served as the Secretary of the Navy prior to leading the 1st U.S. Volunteer Cavalry Regiment, known as Rough Riders, in the Spanish-American War. He became famous for his charges up Kettle Hill and San Juan Hill, and was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions, the only president to receive the honor. Author Tennyson Thompson has portrayed President Roosevelt in the last 3 years.
Thanks, Alex. The National Memorial Day Parade is now remembering those who served in the Spanish-American War. Now I have here with me retired Colonel John Meyer, U.S. Air Force, now Senior Account Manager at Emerging Markets, CSX Transportation. So tell me, John, you made this transition from the U.S. Air Force Reserves, and now you're working at the railroad. What is that like? What was that transition like for you?
Well, it was pretty effective and pretty easy, actually, because one thing I want to comment about CSX is their support of the Guard and the Reserve. There is no question that Guardsmen and Reservists they get the same benefits when they're on duty, when they're deployed, so the support is absolutely fantastic. So the transition for me was very easy, and I really appreciate the support of the company.
Absolutely. And now the railroad has hired 15,000 people. They've provided that many jobs. So would you recommend the railroad to other veterans who are looking for work?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about the fact that the railroads do support veterans. There are active programs. At CSX alone, we're going to hire 1,000 veterans this year. And it's primarily because of the dedication that the veteran brings to the railroad. The mission is very similar at the railroad and in the military itself. You need to be dedicated, and that's where it's at.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Major and Alex.
This next float comes to us from the Lions Clubs of Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. Lions Club was founded in 1917, shortly after the United States entered World War I. By Melvin Jones in an effort to encourage community service. This is their 4th year participating in our parade. They are 1.35 million strong, and that makes them, yes indeed, the world's largest service organization.
Very impressive. Well, Lions are the Knights of the Blind. They prevent blindness, they recycle eyeglasses, and support guide dogs. They also feed the hungry, assist the elderly, preserve the environment, and serve youth through mentoring and scholarships.
Now up next, the Sewanaka All-District Marching Band. It consists of students from 5 high schools from the area.
Hello, I'm Renee King, drum major.
And I'm Seth Greensmith, drum major. Our students are the district's best musicians and most talented color guard. We have demonstrated hard work and a high level of musicianship as well as dedication to make this band what it is.
The band unites a diverse group of high school students into this musical organization. All of the 5 high schools have received the Blue Ribbon National School of Excellence Awards.
We have marched in the New York Columbus Day, St. Patrick's Day Parade, and the Scranton St. Patrick's Day Parade. We hope you enjoy our performance.
We will be back for more live parade coverage right after this.
Next up, the parade salutes America's greatest generation and a performance from recording artist G Love. And later, Miss America. And it's all live from Washington, D.C.
In fact, fact, the National Memorial Day Parade remembers those millions who served in World War II. In fact, more than 16 million Americans did that duty. Pretty incredible numbers there. While more than 400,000 died, making it truly the defining moment of the 20th century.
You know, when the National World War II Memorial was dedicated back in 2004, the American Veterans Center helped organize a parade in honor of those veterans who were able to attend the ceremonies. It was out of that experience that our National Memorial Day Parade grew.
And we're glad for it, certainly. In Oklahoma now, the Skiatook High School Marching Band membership is composed of students from the 9th through 12th grades.
I am drum major Danielle Siley.
And I'm percussionist John Haller. Our group has a proud history that includes numerous class championships and awards at events throughout the Midwest.
We have consistently received superior ratings for field performances for the past 8 years and have been selected as a finalist at the Oklahoma Bandmasters State Championships each of those years.
In the spring, the students are active participants in solo, chamber, and percussion ensembles, as well as one of 2 concert bands, each of which have earned superior ratings at recent festivals.
We are honored to be here participating in the National Memorial Day Parade today.
Next up are veterans from a truly legendary unit from World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen, who are serving as honorary marshals for World War II. The Airmen were the first African-American aviators in the United States Armed Forces, and through their perseverance against incredible odds, went on to post one of the most impressive records of any air unit of that war.
And you saw those 3 joining us in the parade today. They are 3 of the original Tuskegee Airmen: Dr. Ivan Ware, William T. Fauntleroy Jr., and Cicero Satterfield. And we certainly thank the Washington area collectors of military vehicles, Blue and Gray Military Vehicle Trust, for that car they're riding in, that vehicle.
This next unit is brought to you by Sprint Federal. Please welcome members of the 99th Infantry Division of World War II. They are the heroes of, get this, ready, history buffs, the Battle of the Bulge, the Ruhr Pocket, and all Central Germany.
And members of the 99th Infantry Division earned many Presidential Distinguished Unit citations, the Belgian Fourragère, and 1 Medal of Honor. Today they are riding in vehicles, again, from the Washington area collectors of military vehicles, the Blue and Gray Military Vehicle Trust. Impressive.
Indeed.
Look at those vehicles. Can you imagine collecting those? I wonder how much those are worth. Think about it.
A lot of money, a lot of hardware, and a lot of uniforms. Very cool uniforms. But you know, the Tuskegee Airmen have already gone by our position here, and we don't get a lot of time to turn back and look around. But they are spectacular representatives of that era and a changing America that was brought about by that era.
Absolutely right. We're so glad for their participation, as well as this next group. Here are DC's own ladies of the swing shift, featuring Erin Gant, Kate Thiel, and Joanne Wirtz. They're specializing in those popular hits of the 1940s and 50s. Erin is a native Washingtonian, also a merchant marine veteran of Desert Storm.
Lots of swing, lots of horns. Kate, originally from New Jersey, is an orchestra teacher with the Prince William County, Virginia school system. Joanne, also a native Washingtonian, is a musical theater teacher. And we're glad to have them all here.
And more music, this time from the Concord Community High School Marching Minutemen. They're from Elkhart, Indiana, and they have a long tradition of excellence spanning more than 5 decades.
Hi. I'm Stefan Roos, and I'm drum major in the Concord Marching Band.
And I'm drum major Emily Bechtel.
We are a well-traveled band and have performed all over the United States and the Bahamas.
We have also qualified for Indiana Marching Band State Finals 28 out of the past 29 years. We have achieved state championships in 1992, 2003, 2005, and 2011.
We were also the first high school band recognized as an All-American school, an award to recognize the most outstanding high school instrumental music programs in America.
We hope you enjoy our performance.
We sure are enjoying this performance. They're remarkable. All the way from Indiana, where I bet it's not quite as hot as it is here today. What do you think? They got some spirit there, these kids.
Now, the Navy Club United States of America, Ship 166, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, is proud to represent the Navy Club United States of America national body. The organization was the first to place a memorial at Pearl Harbor on Ford Island, and then was requested by the Secretary of Defense to initiate a fundraising drive to raise money for the now world-famous Arizona Memorial.
Now, this organization is made up of veterans of seagoing services, that being the Coast Guard, the Navy, and the Marines, and their motto is, keep the fleet to keep the peace and service to all veterans.
Today, U-Haul continues its support of our veterans and our troops by showcasing the 5 branches of the armed services on the sides of U-Haul trucks: Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines, and the Coast Guard. U-Haul is committed to serving our veterans by giving them priority in their hiring process.
And U-Haul is once again honored to be a sponsor of the parade and to be able to remind the public about the true meaning of Memorial Day, to honor and remember all of the men and women who have given so selflessly for our freedom, and so they honor the families they left behind.
In 2010, the United States Congress unanimously voted for a new national remembrance to honor the men and women of America's greatest generation. National Spirit of 45 Day is observed each year on the second Sunday in August, coinciding with the anniversary of August.
We are now joined by Nell Calloway, the granddaughter of General Claire Chennault, who led the legendary Flying Tigers during World War II. In 2010, the United States Congress unanimously voted for a new National Day of Remembrance to honor the men and women of America's greatest generation. National Spirit of 45 Day is observed each year on the second Sunday in August, and that coincides with the anniversary of August 14th, 1945. It was on that day President Harry S. Truman announced that Japan had surrendered and World War II, mercifully, was over.
Quite a day that was. Well, today, hundreds of youth from as far away as California and Hawaii, they are here carrying photographs of the men and women who gave their lives in service to our country during World War II. Look at those photographs. They're beautiful. We will be right back after this short break, everyone. Stay with us.
Coming up, Buzz Aldrin and The Voice contestant Angie Johnson join the National Memorial Day Parade from Constitution Avenue, right here in Washington, D.C.
From Adelaide to Alabama, G-Love the Bluesman always delivers a stellar special performance. He's going to do it again right now. Everyone, please welcome, singing Peace, Love, and Happiness, G-Love.
Let this world just weigh on your shoulders. You gotta pick it up, push it off before you let yourself get older. Just look into the eyes, the good eyes of a child, and see that love rise like a river and flow for 1,000 miles. Give me that peace, love, happiness. Come on. Peace, love, happiness. Breathing deep and feel your heartbeats to know that life worth living. Feel your feet on the earth. You gotta love it while I still here spin. I got no time to worry about troubles almost giving. You need to let it flow, let yourself go. If you hating and you sure ain't living, then give me peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, happiness. A lot of people talking, we need somebody to listen. Now, a lot of people struggling, but if you got it, well, you better start giving a little more peace, love, and happiness. can we eat this daily bread with so many people starving? We gotta make this world a better place and bring on people home now. With all this money spent on guns instead of food and education, we need to buy a little peace and love instead. Start the healing of the nation. So give me that peace, love, happiness. Come on. Peace, love, happiness. Yeah.
G-Love stands for Garrett. Alex, back to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, everyone, as part of the 2011 Defense Authorization Bill, the Department of Defense 60th anniversary of the Korean War Commission was created to thank and honor those who fought and died in the Korean War. Over the next few years, the commission will work to educate the American people about the impact of that war and all the sacrifices that were made by those who fought in the first battle of the Cold War.
We hear of World War II veterans very often, and then we move right into the Vietnam period, and oftentimes the Korean War veterans' contributions, and they're great, have been ignored. The median age for these guys is 81, 82 years old. Many of them are veterans of World War II that went on to Korea to fight after the war. These are the guys that did all the heavy lifting, so to speak, and to get their perspective and the hardships they went through, what they endured, you know, it's really eye-opening. It was really a very important part of American history. All that energy and effort that was expended during those 3 years of war from 1950 to 53, it added up to something pretty important. We have a tremendous ally in the Republic of Korea that continues to partner with us today. What better, you know, lasting tribute to what they did over there than to see that country prospering the way it is.
We must never forget the sacrifice of our veterans who fought in Korea to preserve freedom. The Republic of Korea stands today as a prosperous and powerful example of democracy and that freedom.
Indeed it does. Through 2013, the Department of Defense 60th anniversary of the Korean War Commemoration Committee will thank our Korean War veterans and their families for their selfless service, observe key historical events, and remind us all about the war's continuing relevance. Now, riding on the float today are 5 retired United States Air Force heroes from the Korean War, and they're joined by the voice contestant, Angie Johnson.
She grew up on the side of the road where the church bells ring and strong love grows. She grew up good, she grew up slow, American honey. Steady as a preacher, free as a weed. Couldn't wait to get going, but wasn't quite ready to leave. So innocent, so sweet, like American honey. There's a wild, wild whisper blowing in the wind, calling out my name like a long lost friend. Oh, I miss those days as the years go by. Oh, nothing sweeter, summertime and American honey. Gone for so long now, I gotta get back to her somehow. An American honey. There's a wild, wild whisper blowing in the wind, calling out my name like a long lost friend. Oh, I miss those days as the years go by. Oh, nothing sweeter, summertime and American honey.
Angie, thank you. Angie, thank you very much. The parade salutes those who served in the Korean War. More than 35,000 Americans died, and 128,000 were wounded in what its veterans now call, listen carefully, the Forgotten Victory.
Well, serving as honorary marshal for the Korean War is retired Air Force Major General Frederick Boots Bilsey. Boots is among the war's most famous figures, flying 67 missions in the war during 2 combat tours. Upon his return home in 1952, he was America's leading ace of the war. He would fly in the Vietnam War, retiring with more than 650 hours of combat time.
And we are also pleased to welcome, really pleased to welcome, as Honorary Marshal Colonel Buzz Aldrin, famed astronaut and proud Air Force veteran of the Korean War. In addition to becoming the second man to walk on the moon, Colonel Aldrin graduated from West Point and served 21 years in the U.S. Air Force.
Now, Major, you know what he's most recently known for, right?
Nimble moves on Dancing with the Stars. Could outdance me without even breaking a sweat.
Well, now here are the Uniondale Marching Knights from Long Island in Nassau County, New York. Here they are.
We have performed nationally and internationally throughout the years. I am Drum Major Stephen Muir.
And I am Drum Major Deron Simpson. And today we are performing Getaway of September. The students and faculty of the Marching Knights are excited and honored to be participating in the National Memorial Day Parade, representing the state of New York.
We would like to thank the parents, administration, and the Board of Education for their continued support. We hope you enjoy our performance.
The National Memorial Day Parade now honors those who served in the Vietnam War. Today, in a ceremony just down the street at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, President Obama is helping to kick off the United States of America 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War commemoration.
It's about to get loud here because leading is a contingent from Rolling Thunder, Maryland Chapter 1. This group of veterans and non-veterans was established to create awareness concerning the prisoner of war missing in action issue and support veterans of all wars and their families. This year, Rolling Thunder calls attention to Sergeant Bowie Bergdahl, captured in June 2009 by the Taliban. What I say? It's going to get loud. Here it is.
And also representing those who served in Vietnam is this year's Honorary Marshal for the Vietnam War, Brigadier General R. Steve Ritchie, United States Air Force.
A recipient of the Air Force's second highest decoration, the Air Force Cross, General Ritchie is the only Air Force pilot ace of the Vietnam War. He was also awarded 4 Silver Stars, 10 Distinguished Flying Crosses, and 25 Air Medals.
The parade now honors the Special Operations community, which is currently leading the way in operations on the front lines in Afghanistan. Leading this tribute are representatives of the 352nd Civil Affairs Command. On the Special Operations float are veterans of the Army Special Forces 10th Group, Civil Affairs, and Navy SEALs, along with wounded warriors from today's generation.
We have to offer a special thanks to the Perot Foundation and Mr. H. Ross Perot for making this tribute possible and supporting this float. Mr. Perot has long been a supporter of our military and the Special Forces community, and the parade is very proud to have his support. And now we're going to head down to Constitution Avenue. Let's get street side with Kirsten. Kirsten.
Hi, well, thank you, Alex. I'm honored to be standing next to 3 of the original Tuskegee Airmen. We have Ivan Ware, Bill Fauntleroy, and Cicero Satterfield. Well, can you tell me here, Cicero, how about you tell me, what does it feel like to be such a part of such a special unit that you were?
Well, I can tell you this. I was raised in the state of Mississippi, and when I was inducted into service, at the Camp Shelby, that my uncle was in the quartermaster, that I took the test. They kept saying, IQ. As which branch of service you going? And I told him. And so David Durden said, field artillery, field artillery.
Thank you so much, Cicero. You guys are all amazing. Back to you, Major and Alex.
Live, the parade honors the fallen of the Gulf War, and we welcome our active duty military of today's generation.
Now, Alex, let's head back to the parade route where the National Memorial Day Parade salutes those who served in the Gulf War.
Serving as honorary Marshal for the Gulf War is Captain Ed Gant of the United States Navy. Captain Gant began his career as an enlisted man in the Army, serving in Vietnam before joining the Navy in 1977. He has served in many positions, and he's been awarded a Meritorious Service Medal. There he is, Captain Gant. He was running just a little bit behind the time, about 30 seconds late there for our intro, but we're awfully glad he made it. Better late than never.
You know, but considering his distinguished service, late but always on time.
Absolutely, we agree. So we're glad that he's made this. Now serving as honorary marshals for the Gulf War are American veterans of Desert Storm, and they come from across this country to march in the parade and to bring an awareness about the National Desert Shield Desert Storm War Memorial.
Now, this memorial will be constructed adjacent to the National Mall right here in Washington, D.C. It'll be dedicated sometime in 2016, and that will be to mark the 25th anniversary of that conflict. The memorial is being constructed with 100% private financing. To learn more, visit www.nationaldesertstormmemorial.org.
We've got some more music now. The Sullivan South Rebel Band is an award-winning high school band. It's located in Kingsport, Tennessee. And this next float commemorates the 21st anniversary of the Gulf War. It is brought to us by the state of Kuwait. Among the parade's earliest supporters, the people of Kuwait wish to convey their deep appreciation for those who served and those who fell in the fight to liberate their country.
Appearing on the float and walking along the parade route are citizens of Kuwait who bring with them the message that Kuwait remembers our Gulf War veterans.
Kirsten's got a very special guest. We're going to go to you now, Kirsten.
Hi there, Alex. I'm standing with Buzz Aldrin. So tell me, Buzz, everyone wants to know, with all these questions about NASA, what is the future of our space program?
Well, all of us in NASA are very proud of our careers at West Point and in the Air Force, the Korean War, and getting into the astronaut program is just such a unique privilege to be a part of that. And I would like for people to remember all the 24 Apollo people who reached the moon, not just the 12 who walked on the moon. As we look at the future, we've got the opportunity to continue our research at the space station. That's going to take a lot of time. Then we'll prepare the base on the South Pole of the moon for other nations to land, and then we'll prepare the base on the moon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more parade after this.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the American Veterans Center National Memorial Day Parade presented by Boeing.
And now let's go back to Constitution Avenue, where we salute those brave Americans who served and sacrificed in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. United We Stand is the theme of the 2012 New York City Veterans Day Parade, produced annually by the United War Veterans Council.
Their membership includes veterans from World War II all the way up to our newest veterans of service in Iraq, Afghanistan, and around the world. Brooklyn College of the City University of New York Veterans Students Organization has been proudly serving the veterans of their university for over 15 years.
The Valley Forge Field Music Group was formed in 1956 as its own company or unit, and its members live together in the same barracks and with the same tactical officer. Members of field music range in age from 14 to 20 years.
And aren't they talented? Well, this year's field music unit is led by Cadet Captain Dylan Heilman and Drum Major Ryan Niesner. The ensemble's director is Captain David Bickle. All music selections are written and arranged by members of this year's company, in fact.
Riding high today with military families everywhere is USA Cares. USA Cares is where military families come for help. Since 2003, USA Cares has helped more than 35,000 military members and their families when they've hit a financial bump in the road.
Riding front and center with military families is Sergeant Brian Anderson, an Iraq War veteran and Purple Heart recipient.
And here is Laura Kepler, Miss America 2012. She will be joined by Miss America's outstanding teen, Elizabeth Fechtel from Florida. Let's welcome a performance of God Bless America from Laura Kepler.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America. God bless America. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Just spectacular. Thank you, Laura Kepler and Elizabeth Fechtel. We salute those brave Americans who have served and sacrificed in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Leading this special tribute to the Iraq War generation are families of the fallen, represented by families from the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, also known as TAPS.
And these families are walking to remember their loved ones who served in the U.S. military and died in Iraq. TAPS provides comfort and care to anyone grieving the death of someone who died while serving in the armed forces.
And now let's welcome veterans of Operation Iraqi Freedom, joined by comrades who also served in Afghanistan, as they walk down Constitution Avenue in honor of their fallen brothers and sisters lost in Iraq. Today marks the very first time they've been welcomed home by their fellow Americans.
Well, these veterans today are members of the Wounded Warrior Project in Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, which was founded in 2004 by veterans of the war.
The Massachusetts Maritime Academy Regimental Band and Honor Guard mission is to provide music, military customs, and tradition to cadets at that school. As we begin our grand finale, we welcome honestly and earnestly active duty personnel from the United States Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Army Reserves.
We sure do. We are especially proud and honored to welcome home many of these troops who've just recently returned from a deployment overseas.
Marching today, so I want you to see them, pay close attention. United States Marines from Marine Detachment Fort Meade. From the United States Navy, sailors from the USS Arlington, named in honor of the fallen from the attacks on the Pentagon. Airmen from the United States Air Force.
And soldiers from the United States Army and United States Army Reserve. We are certainly honored to have these service members with us as we pay tribute to the generation that has served us on the front lines in Iraq and in Afghanistan. Thank you, and to the fallen, we will never forget. What an honor it has been, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alex Witt.
And I'm Major Garrett. Our thanks to Kirsten Haglund, our street reporter on Constitution Avenue. It's been a fantastic parade. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again on Constitution Avenue next year.
Happy Memorial Day.